Hello and welcome to Hockey Hypothetical, serious answers to silly questions. Each episode we'll be taking preposterous scenarios that we've made up from the world of hockey and trying to produce genuine responses to those what-if questions. My name is Jonathan Fernley, I'm here with Stephen Dowson, and Douse, here's our first Hockey Hypothetical. You are in charge of the laws of hockey, the rules of the game.
I am the Lord of Hockey.
You can make any changes to the rule book that you want.
Oh.
But rather than saying any changes, we're just going to say you've got the ability to remove one rule.
Ooh.
So it's the rule that you want to get rid of.
Okay.
We can't add in a new rule. We can only take out a rule that currently exists.
Okay.
So which one's it going to be?
I could get rid of one rule. That is a toughie. Do you see what I mean? I mean, that is a... Because I think there are some absolutely stupid rules. Like, the fact that there's a rule that you can have both tripping and embellishment at the same time, I always think is an odd play. Well, was it tripping or was it embellishment? And I can understand there was a world where both happen, but I always think it's a bit cheap when that happens. You know what I mean?
I think that call should happen much more often.
You really do?
If it's in the rule book, it should happen. Because, yes, you've been slashed, but no, it doesn't hurt that much.
Okay, so not embellishment. Trying to think of the rules, because like there's certain, like the kicking motion rule in hockey. I think that's a real bizarre one, because you can put that puck in so many. It can come off your head and go in, and come off your arse and go in. You don't need to do a thrusting motion with your buttocks, does it? And if it goes in, but the kicking rule is so weird, because then you get this kind of weird is that a kick? And that's like, I think that just seems, especially because they're changing that rule.
Now you can't even direct it in with your skate. If you change your skate's position to direct it in, that used to be okay, but now it wasn't a kicking motion. But hey, you've directed it into the goal. You deliberately put it in with your foot, essentially.
Yeah, but
the thing that bothers me about that rule is you can kick it all the way down the ice. A defenseman can kick it off the line.
Yeah. So
if you're allowed to use your skates, you're allowed to use your skates.
Yeah. Well, why has it changed? What's magic about that?
Is that really the one thing we really want to get out if you give them one chance to remove a rule? Ask a player, and they tend to, defensemen seem to hate delay of game for throwing the puck over the glass.
I think it's a good rule, though.
I do as well. If you got rid of it, you'd just do it all the time, wouldn't you? For a face-off.
There's a reason why defensemen don't like it, because often
they're very rarely trying to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But if it wasn't there as a rule, they would try and do it. That's the problem. I'd do it. You know what I mean? I'd be like straight out of there. You know. So probably not that one. I might get rid of the 5-minute major for fighting. Depends on what my role is. If my role is to get more people to come to hockey games, I might get rid of the 5-minute major for fighting.
And what is the penalty instead?
2 minutes. Just completely make it like a nonsense penalty. You know what I mean?
A game's going to descend into farce. You're going to get too many fights if you reduce the severity of the penalty.
That's true. But it'd be more fun to watch in the short term and terrible for the long term welfare of the players. But I'm the NHL chairman here, so I don't need to worry about people. I just worry about money coming in, you know.
What about the Sean Avery rule?
Oh, the
standing in front, facing a goaltender and waving your stick in his face.
Yeah.
To try and put him off. When I first saw that, I thought, what a brilliant idea that is. On a 5-on-3, when you've essentially got a spare player that you can use for that purpose.
Yeah.
I thought that was a terrific idea. And I completely understand why they've banned it. But that made that 5-on-3 so much fun.
It made it so much fun that they scored soon after. You know, Avery put it away, especially against Marty Brodeur, because they hated each other, which is just fantastic.
I'd be really tempted to get rid of that, because as an opposition player, seeing someone do that to your goalie, you're going to want to fight that player.
Yeah.
Fine. So as a forward, I'm taking a risk here for my team.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get hurt for this.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to help us score.
Okay.
So not everyone is going to do it. Not everyone is going to be brave enough. Not everyone is going to be unsporting enough.
Yeah.
If you want to put it that way. But I think that is one that I'd be really tempted to get rid of.
I think for new fans, one of the ones I'd be tempted to get rid of is the icing rule. Because it slows down the pace of the game massively. Ooh. You know what I mean? And for new fans, it can be completely bewildering as to why the player suddenly stopped. So maybe I'd be tempted to look at icing, because I know, again, it exists to protect players.
You're going to get a very defensive game if you can ice the puck with no repercussion.
That's true.
I'd be tempted to go the other way, and I know they've thought about this. Introducing icing when you're short-handed. You don't get a free pass when you're short-handed. You send the puck down the ice, that's icing, players coming back. No line change. To try and encourage more offense, more goals. I mean, more power play goals. Remember the power play too valuable?
Yeah, I would say so.
But I sort of don't think, the idea of being on the penalty kill is you're meant to be at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Why are you then giving them that big advantage? So that is another one that I would consider. That's probably less controversial than taking out the Avery rule.
Yeah, but that one's so much fun, though. And especially because it's called the Avery rule as well. It's all you know you've made it in life when there is a rule in a rule book that's named after you, you know? Because, there's that baseball pitcher who's ambidextrous, and they had to bring in a new rule because he can pitch both left and right.
Yeah, so the batter can change to, if you're pitching right, I want to hit left. If you're pitching left, I want to hit right.
I wouldn't have brought that rule. I'm like, nah, God bless the kid. He can use both arms.
But there was a Mexican standoff, and the batter wouldn't go into the batter box until he knew which hand the pitcher was going to use, and the pitcher wouldn't take to the mound until he knew which batter's box the guy was going in. So they mandated it: the pitcher must declare which hand he's using first. I'm trying to think of other.
Here's a good one.
Yeah, go on.
I would remove the rule that states that if a netminder has a penalty, somebody else serves it.
Oh, yes. Winner. Forget everything I've ever said. That is the winner. No way should the netminder come out of his crease, trip someone up, get 2 minutes, and then send the little kid that never gets any ice time across to the bench to serve his penalty on his behalf.
Because that's a power play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you've got a backup goalie. Why can't he come in and use it?
Put them in for
and particularly on those. Occasionally, I've seen netminders get 2 plus 10.
Yeah. It'd be open season, wouldn't it?
It'd be terrific fun.
Yeah. I think that's
you shouldn't get a free pass from serving a penalty that you've taken.
Because also, I must say, I love the idea of a netminder kind of just wallowing into the box. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know whether you would allow the backup to go in, because when the penalty's expired, the player's allowed to come back on the ice, and you can't have 2 netminders on the ice.
No, what you would have to do is you'd have to send in the netminder and another player.
Oh,
so you are short benched by 2.
Yes. Okay, that's a good way of doing it. So that kid's still making the walk.
Yeah, the kid's still making the walk. He's just got a friend to chat to when he's in there.
But that's like the idea. The thing is, I also like the idea of releasing the netminder and just a mess of pads and helmets just flying out the penalty box. You know?
Well, yeah, the netminder could come out of the box, providing he makes his way straight back to the bench.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be...
wouldn't he just scoot along?
Yeah.
No, they'd have to stay in until a break of play, wouldn't they? Which then becomes a tactic by the opposition. Make sure you don't freeze the puck. Make sure you don't go offside. You know, once the penalty's over, you get that extended period of...
Yeah, at the NHL level, that's going to be less of a difference because the quality of the backup netminder is so high.
Yeah, but bringing a netminder cold and then immediately putting him into a power play, I think a netminder's... You're always more likely to score, I think.
Oh, that is true, but yeah, it's the unfairness of you've taken a penalty, but you don't have to serve it.
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Because some netminders are bad for giving away penalties as well. You know what I mean? And I think it would just be funny. And again, it's one of those rules that can be a barrier to the sport but he did the penalty. Yeah, but for no reason whatsoever other than we think goaltenders are made of stardust. We're making the kid who, doesn't get much ice time take the walk of shame. That's it's that famous thing from Slapshot. Why do you go to the penalty box? And you go there and you feel shame. Goalies should feel shame. It's important. It's a humbling experience to realise that you did something wrong and you did a boo-boo, and now you're going to have to serve your time. I think that'll probably be the first rule I'd definitely think about doing that. The other thing, because I always interest, because they always do the in the NHL they take all the youth players, don't they, and take them into a centre and say, right, this time we're going to play a game with no icing and see how it goes, or this time we're going to play a game with the goals twice as big and see how it goes, and they keep basically playing. And I'd love
That's
to
where
go
3-on-3 overtime came from.
Yeah, I'd love to go watch that. I would love just to go and watch that one, see what they do. For this game, we're going to play with 8 men on the ice and just see what happens. I think that's great. I think that's what every sport should do, and they should televise it. They should, because I'd watch that. What are we doing later on today? Oh, we're playing the version of the game where you can only use the other end of your stick. Yeah, go on then. I'll see how this goes. Turns out rubbish, but it's good television.
At least you know.
At least we know. We know. Because, again, that was where 3-on-3 came from. Maybe the only rule I would probably get rid of, because I'm not a fan of it particularly, is the concept of penalty shots in overtime. That
might make for a good future hypothetical as what's a replacement for it.
Yeah, I think we should look at that.
If you can't have an everlasting game, how do you end it if you don't like penalty shots?
Because I don't
have a problem with penalty shots. I would like the shootouts to be longer. I don't think 3 shots each is enough. I much prefer the 5 shots, which they use in continental competitions.
Yeah.
I think the 3 shots is too short.
Yeah. But it is a quick way of doing it. Although there's a rule you could remove. Because in penalty shots, you have to have forward momentum, don't you? Get rid of that.
What, so you can add in the ability to do a wraparound?
I don't know, or go back a little bit, or dangle the puck from behind and scoop it over it. I think getting rid of forward momentum, because then it becomes a proper, intense, slow burn.
Or how about introducing field hockey's idea?
Oh, yeah.
Where you've got 15 seconds. If your first shot's saved, that's okay. There's 3 seconds left on the clock. Get that ball and have another go.
Oh, yeah.
So you get that rebound. So you see this in hockey, field hockey.
Yeah.
The players will dribble in, take a shot. The keeper's made a lying down save, but really difficult to get back to the feet. The forward can get that ball again and put it into the net. Now, your time is really tight in hockey, so it's very quick.
Yeah.
But if in ice hockey you had the ability to just skate in, slap shot, they've made a pad save, but they've got to redirect it to the corner. If they've put it back out in front, you've got it back on your stick again for a second shot. So if you introduced a timed element and just said it's until the puck goes in or time expires, you've got a different element to it.
2 rules I would consider removing if I was trying to increase the popularity of the sport. I might remove the third period as a rule.
2 periods of half an hour?
2 periods of half an hour. Because it's a lot more... It makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Most sports...
Does the ice condition hold up?
I think it. I think most arenas it's gone after 5 minutes. I don't think it really matters if you play. Also, we say it's okay in overtime. We say, suddenly it's magically okay. But I think, in terms of access to the sport, understanding that it's 2 halves rather than 3 periods. Well, why is there a third period? Why is it not 4 quarters? What? It's not a whole then? I don't understand. And then maybe the only other thing I'd maybe remove is the idea that the clock stops and starts. If you want to speed up the game of hockey...
We had that in the 2020 Cup.
Yes, and it was great. Watching those linesmen dash up and down the ice to drop the puck, I thought that was great.
Do we really want to institute that change at all levels of hockey?
Maybe.
Is that too dramatic?
I'm allowed to get rid of 1 rule.
And how belligerent are you being with this 1 rule? Are you changing the face of hockey forever?
I'm Gary Bettman, of course I'm belligerent. I'm the definition of an idiot in front of you. I will definitely think... Because imagine, right, it's a running clock. So face-offs are going to happen quicker. The speed of play will increase. Line changes will become even more important because you won't have that moment of lull to get your line change in. It won't happen. Power plays become a lot more fun, because the power play clock is still ticking down whilst the game is stopped. So you've got to, recover the puck quickly and get in formation quickly. So I would probably then add the rule of, as long as the forward team is, as long as one team is ready to drop the puck, you drop the puck. Speed up the game, be a bit mad, More goals, more excitement. I'm a genius.